Hey guys, welcome back. On today's video, we're going to talk about something very shocking. Hi everyone, welcome back. MTG Moxman here. If you're new to my channel, welcome aboard. I hope you enjoyed the content today. For all my regular viewers, welcome back everyone. I look forward to seeing everyone in the comments section. We're going to have a blast with this one. Today's conversation is going to be about Shocklands. That's right, a shocking conversation, right? Now, Shocklands have been around for quite a long time, all the way back to Ravnica. We're going back years now. And then were most recently printed in what, Ravnica Legions, Guilds of Ravnica, around 2019. We haven't seen them for a couple of years. And although they were printed into oblivion, like anything that Magic does, if you don't keep a steady supply, it kind of dries up in the secondary market. And that forces price increases. When something becomes scarce, the price of that commodity rises. It's no different in Magic, guys. So, like we talked about with the Triomes yesterday, and the fact it's only in the one set, and it was underprinted. Ravnica Legions and Guilds of Ravnica were not underprinted. They were massively printed. But it's been 2 years since they've been out of print. They're gone. They haven't come back. And they will get reprinted. Shocklands are coming back, definitely. But the question is when? Are we going to see it next year? Not likely. Okay, they don't want to go back to Ravnica that fast. And for those who didn't know about a Shockland still gives you two types of mana, but it comes into play tapped, or when it comes into play untapped, you have to take 2 damage, depending on your needs for that particular land. It's a really good land cycle. Everyone likes to have them. So if you didn't know about them, you just learned something. But for those who know, you also know the price varies over time. And although the prices have been very low in the past, I've noticed again on a bunch of mana cycles and land cycle cards, we're seeing a lot of price increases just creeping along that I want to make people aware of today. So we have 10 cards to go over. Let's have some fun and take a look, shall we? All right, number 1, Godless Shrine. Take a look at that bad boy. See those areas right there? More recently, okay, you see right now, foil, somewhere around 24 bucks. The average market, 12. You see what I'm talking about. I remember this thing being as low as like $7, $8 when I was buying them at face-to-face. That's not the case right now. Sometimes they're on sale at face-to-face, but not right now. I wonder why. Because like most things, they're getting harder to get. There's inflation to worry about, people. So when we take a look at Watery Grave, another amazing land cycle, when you see this one, you're going, okay. Now, forget the picture I'm showing about what type of card is. I'm going to show you prices at the very end of the lowest prices I found versus the highest. But the average here you can see starts a little bit low, high, goes to the dip, goes high, goes low, and it's on that steady increase toward the $20 mark. When these lands get over that $20 mark, that's when you can start getting concerned. You realize there's a real shortage. These lands aren't all there yet, but there are a few that are etching up that direction. And I'm not talking about foils, just a basic, the cheapest one you can find. Now, number 3 is going to be the Blood Crypt. You see how the prices are already creeping up here? You see how it starts lower at Ravnica Legions 2019, and it just slowly does this little bouncy curve, but it all heads straight up. When it's going up like that, it has to top out somewhere, and usually that's with a reprinting. But if Wizards doesn't reprint it, let's face it, we're in trouble. You have to remember, guys, when you can get these lands for $5, $6, which they've been as cheap as that lots of times because I bought them, I put them in a deck. And then I build a new deck and I go, oh, I got to get myself some more Shocklands. Do I really want to pull them out of a deck? Not usually. I go buy some more because they're not that expensive. But when they start getting up to this price, you start seeing that commodity becoming hard to come by, forcing the price up, and people do start trading them in, but it's at those higher levels, which makes it more expensive for everyone. So when we check out number 4, which is the Temple Garden. Temple Garden, you can see right here, it starts high, dips right down, and it's slowly going up. Now this one ends around that $10, $12 mark, but it's still heading upward. If we don't see a new Ravnica set or something with Shocklands that brings down that price in the next year, we could be in for some serious trouble. You could see these cards all going well over $20, which some people are going to love because you made a short flip on it. You're going to make some serious cash. Kudos to you. But for players who might be needing some of these for a deck, it could get pretty expensive. Let's check out number 5. Now, number 5, Stomping Ground. Again, see how that average is 11, the market's 11. This one's not too bad. It started high, went low, went a little bit higher, and then it went straight down again below the 20, but it's starting that inevitable creep up again. It's quite, it's fascinating to see how these lands come and go as we purchase them, as sets come along. And when you track these over 10 years, 12 years, you start seeing that giant, exchange of highs and lows based on what sets came out, what was popular at the time. It's fascinating. Now, if we go to number 6 is going to be Overgrown Tomb. You can see there the high, the low, and look, it starts going up again. Just like the Triumphs yesterday, we are seeing a massive influx of people buying these cards, and it didn't happen overnight. This has been happening slowly over months and months. I've been tracking it, and I just noticed it. Like, I saw the little increase of 20 cents, 30 cents, but when I started putting them together, I realized that's like $2 higher. That's $3 higher than, say, 6 months ago. And then that's why you see it going up. Okay? And this isn't just happening here. I'll have videos all week explaining why this is happening and where it's going on. Now, if we take a look at number 7, we see Hollowed Fountain. Again, see how high it starts? It's like, oh, it's like 15, 16 bucks. Dives down, and now it's starting that creep back up again. Just ever so slowly. Again, forget the fact I'm showing you a Return to Ravnica copy. I just put whatever one I could find right away. It's the fact that the card itself is still used, still valuable. And every time it goes down, it inevitably starts creeping back up as soon as something's been out of print a certain time period. It's usually about 24 months, okay? In this case, it's a little bit longer, but it's starting to go up now because it's starting to hit my radar. Now, number 8 is Steam Vents. You see there, the market price again. I love seeing this curvature. It just shows that the people who play with these cards value them, and it always leads to that inevitable increase. You got to keep an eye on this stuff. Well, that's why people tune into the channel, right? Number 9 is Sacred Foundry. I remember buying these in foil for the very first time. I was so proud of myself. Foils cost almost 40 bucks now. That is crazy to me. This card's over that $20 range. Over 20 is pretty expensive. You see what I'm talking about? It's starting to go above the 20 mark. Maybe not right away, but the less that are available in the market, the higher it's going to go. By the way, stores still have these locally, but they're keeping up with the market too, and the prices aren't much different. Now, the last one is Breeding Pool. And as you can see from Breeding Pool, it started a little bit high because it's at release. Then it drops down, and now it's doing the dippity-doo all the way up. And when it starts going up, that's when it starts costing us money. And remember how many formats you can find a card like this played in. Any of these awesome Shocklands can be all over the place. They go into multiple decks, multiple formats. I've used them in my Vintage Legacy decks. I've used them in Commander decks. It just keeps going. Just like fetch lands and other lands we use. You got to have these pretty boys, and they are gorgeous to look at. They're usually associated only with Ravnica sets. I think they did a Secret Lair drop, but I mean, keep it in mind that, and there's also been some Expedition, I think in Battle for Zendikar, they did some Expedition ones, but those were super hard to get. That's not really an infusion of new Shocklands into the set, so keep that in mind. I'm talking about standard sets that had it available. None of the little ancillary products that may have been there. It's got to be reprinted again soon, or these are only going to creep up. So if you needed some, make sure you get some. Now, as far as prices go, when you take a look here, look at the lows, top level, on the left, right, whatever side you're on. Low, you can see Overgrown Tomb, $7, $8 for Sacred Foundry, $8 for Steam Vents, $5 for Temple Garden, $8 for Water Grave. Cheapest that I could find, okay, for the lows that I remember recording. The highs, $15 for Overgrown, $21 for Sacred, $17, $21 for Temple, $14 for Water Grave. And the funny thing is, I saw some Temple Gardens that were cheaper today, just on eBay. So I was curious to see why there was a price jump on the ones I recorded, but people bought them. They are recorded sales. Now, when you start going over to the lows of stuff like Blood Crypt, $8, $9 for Breeding Pool, $9 for Godless Shrine, $7 for Hallowed Fountain, $7.50 for Stomping Ground, and look at the highs at the bottom. After you see the lows, now look at the highs. $22.50, $25, $16, $13.50, $17.50. Think about that price difference. It's like 3 times the money in some cases. If you bought those at the lows, held on to them, and are now flipping them, you're making a killing right now. And remember, we've talked about this, how important the mana cycle is for any deck. Mana base is so important, and depending on what type of mana you're using and how you're going to get it. So please, guys, remember, if you're buying your lands, don't trade them in. You may need them later. Mana supply, keep it. Don't trade that stuff. You may think you're getting good value. You might think you're getting a good deal, but you may need them 2-3 years from now. You don't know. So hold on to those puppies unless you're sure you don't need them. I mean, if you had like 100 or something, sure. But if you don't, and you just like, I have a play set of 4, I'm not really using them, I'll trade them in at 60 cents on the dollar. They're giving me a bonus of 75% total in trade-in. No. because you still couldn't buy them back for that, could you? Because they're going to mark it up at full price. Hold on to that stuff. You may eventually need it again. Don't be regretful about that stuff. Mana base, just don't trade it. Hold on to that stuff. It's like reserve list. You hold the line on those ones because they just have too many uses, and you're not going to get full sets every time you open a box of Magic cards. So as you accumulate them naturally from cracking packs, maybe doing a trade, buying a single card, you can get your collections built up and not end up, you know, behind the eight ball going, oh, why did I trade those in? I should have kept them. Which is, I mean, I've done it lots of times, guys. That's all I can tell you. Try to learn from my mistakes, people. It can be pretty scary out there. Now, I'll have more videos this week, again, touching on more land cycles that you probably want to know about for the future. Everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. Please leave questions, comments, concerns in the comments section below. I look forward to talking to you about these shocking developments in Magic. Guys, have a great one. This is MTG Moxman. Hey guys, thanks for tuning in, and thank you again to all my amazing patrons who make these videos possible each and every day. Patron support is key for keeping this channel alive, so I'd like to say thank you to every single patron I have. Thank you, everyone. You know what's funny, guys? We're here at the end of the video. Some of you made it. Congratulations. You can put Book of the Dead in the comments section. Yeah, Book of the Dead. And, you know, I'm looking at this Hatchimal. I remember when my sister had a kid. And it was the Furby craze back then. Furby! And I said, if I have a kid, I'm never falling for those ridiculous fads that just go, right? Having your kid beg and cry, hoping to get one, you just can't help yourself. But now it's a reminder. Now it's a reminder, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay. It's a very weird looking thing, don't you think? Mistakes in life happen. You got to rise above them. You guys rock, man. Have a great one. That's right. Have a great one. What's wrong with that? I don't know a great what, but it's going to be a great day for you. I can tell. It's going to be.